Hi, this is John Wanoa, Auckland, New Zealand. Today is April 16, 14 degrees temperature here today, cloudy skies. And so here we're just running over the police complaint with Sergeant Dennis Culverwell in the Auckland Central Police Station. I've just made another video for him to get an answer. It's been a week now go by since I've heard from him about the complaint. The conveyancing lawyer that's transferred the land illegally for 1/61 Cook Street. So I'll wait to hear back from him today and go in on Monday to see him and find out what he's going to say. I wanted him to go down and check out the land conveyancing lawyer and the forged title. That's all I wanted to do for now, because the rest of it is around that transfer, the forged land transfer. There's a number of frauds in it, so I'm not going to go over that, but I'm going to make a video for Detective Karen Malthas. She's the fraud investigator for finance, the finance fraud unit in Auckland. Now, it's odd that she lives in Tasman and the South Island, and her name's on the Auckland Central Police Station as being in charge when she's not resident in a mortgage Admiralty maritime area of jurisdiction. She's right out of her depth here, as far as I'm concerned, from a native point of view, as the landowner, okay, of those blocks, or any land in Auckland for that matter. So I'm writing to her, and I'm writing to Mike Bush at the moment. He's the police commissioner, the New Zealand Police Commissioner, that is responsible for what's happening here on 1/61 Cook Street. I wrote to him. I wrote to the Land Information Register General, Robert Meal. No answer. Official, stamped, sealed, king sealed, flag documents of authentication with the King William's seal, okay, of Admiralty. That's the best you'll ever get in the world of Admiralty, a real admiral, on documents. And so no answer from Police Commissioner. But I'm accusing the police, New Zealand Police, of incompetency in doing their job, because they are only looking after their own financial interests with their 28 businesses. That's including 14 contracted companies that are administering the 14 police companies. Okay, so I'm going to put them all online today. I'm going to spend today, drop off my website and go and do this in preparation for Monday, because I want to get to the bottom of it and get an answer from a policeman, one policeman who's going to check out the fraud on an official complaint on their Facebook. So that's right out in the open. I couldn't find it because it looks like they removed it, left everybody else's on. But I see Mike Bush is right up. I want to read it out to you, okay? I'm going to read the whole thing out so you can see he's incompetent, because he covered up a fraud, a rape, the same as what the Blockbusters, Ghostbusters, or whatever they call them, the Roastbusters, that Karen Malthas was in charge of in Auckland, yet she doesn't live here. She does not live here and operating outside of her jurisdiction area. That's what I got told by Philip Taylor. He's the CIB in Otahu. When I asked him to do this fraud case for me, he said it's outside his jurisdiction area. You see what I mean? And it was Aaron Pascoe in this jurisdiction area. He put me on to Gary Davey, the CIB here on Auckland Central Police Station. He's an ex-lawyer. I dare say he's a contract lawyer and conveyancing lawyer, but he would not go near this. He would not go near it because he knew he'd get tied up in it. And so between him and Mike Clement, who was the area district commander of the Auckland Central Police Station, he too said, look, John, we have no jurisdiction over what you do with land. You see? You see what I mean? Two people who have actually verified, cited them for saying that to me. Okay, so they clearly knew that I have jurisdiction here as a native on these lands, even though Sergeant Tim Duthie illegally told me to leave the land when I had Tony Gillenise, the station manager, police, and also Dennis, Sergeant Dennis Colwell, said go ahead. You know, so there's a conflict there. There is a conflict of interest on one policeman to the other on double standards, and like I said, this word, they are incompetent with what they're doing inside that police station, running a fraud scandal. And Dennis, Sergeant Dennis Colwell, he's the impounder, the custody sergeant of impounds. So there you are. He is responsible for picking up the spoils lying around and putting them in the court to sell them in auctions to get money for their business interests, not the public's interest. So they're not there for the public because they have stayed silent in everything I'm doing here on that land block. It's a sinkhole of fraud and corruption right in the middle of it. The biggest land heist fraud case in the world is that one, because the Queen's business is here in in Intuition New Zealand Limited. Okay, that's their company. That's their company running the racket, using our flag, I guess. If they are, they're in trouble because we're going to bankrupt them anyway. And so if I don't get any answer from the police, then it's looking more suspect than anything else. The confidence of police is dropping very rapidly. And on their website, the New Zealand Police Conduct Association's website on Facebook, there is a lot of comments about them that really paints a bad picture about them. I don't see any comments about me and what I've been doing wrong and breaking laws. They're breaking laws all the time. Now I'm going to read out, I'm going to write a letter to Mike Bush and this video, send this video to him, and I'm ashamed of Pākehās who shut their mouth and say nothing. When you shut your mouth and say nothing, in the maxims of law, is that you lose. You lose. They're lost already on 61 Cook Street saying nothing. Now, and that's just affidavits. They only back up what I have in a title to the land. Okay, I've got enough of a title to the land, and they can't even challenge that. Not even iwi. So the iwi's in trouble too with me and the court hearings. Okay, so they don't have title either. That belongs to the Crown. Okay, I'm going to read this letter, posted in the Paul Henry News and Herald. Okay, I'll just go. It's in Paul Henry. Wednesday, it's 15th of April, 2015, 7:30 a.m. It heads poll: should New Zealand police officers wear body cameras? So that's Paul Henry, and I think that's in the Herald. And I'll go down, and then it's got police, and then right, starts poll would hit. Oh no, that's just other things. So there's 14 comments being made by Paul Henry. And it goes like this. Open letter dated 22nd of 8th, August 2014. Posted by NZPCA, August 22nd, 2014, in Angus Frisk. One comment. Sent this off today to the police and ministers of police and justice. Open letter to Assistant Commissioner Malcolm Burgess, 22nd of August 2014. Dear Sir, your email on the 19th August refers, let's get the facts out there. On the afternoon of the 20th, 1988, Commissioner Michael Bush, then a detective in Kaitaia, colluded with Sergeant Colin Yates and Constable Timothy Ogle to cover up a complaint of rape by Ogle in early hours of the same day. The cover-up was to endure for the next 26 years. See? That's Mike Bush, the Commissioner of Police, sitting down in Wellington now, saying nothing about Cook Street. Okay? Anyway, I'll go on with it. On the evening of the 19th, 1988, Ogle and Yates had used a police vehicle to go on a drinking binge. Yates eventually returned to Kaitaia alone, leaving Ogle behind. Ogle prevailed upon MS Garrett to transport him back to town and had her divert to Kaitaia police station, then unattended. When there, he handcuffed her and committed the acts leading to rape complaint. MS Garrett lodged a complaint of rape to the police the following afternoon, the 20th of March. It was referred to Sergeant Yates, who at the time it was received was drinking with both Timothy Ogle and Mike Bush at the after-match social function of the annual Kaitaia Police Fire Service cricket match. After being notified of the complaint, Yates discussed it in depth with Ogle and Bush. Ogle put forward the claim that sexual intercourse had been consensual. This was accepted implicitly by Bush, who agreed to dispense entirely with the established police procedures for the impartial investigation of a serious crime. As the local detective, Bush's first duty was to inform his superiors at the police district headquarters so that a proper and impartial criminal investigation could be undertaken. He failed to do this. It was to be 3 months before MS Garrett lost patience and had her solicitor formally follow up her complaint, finally initiating an investigation. Bush also failed to implement the most basic of police procedures, that of securing the alleged crime scene for later examination. Evidence left by the victim, which could have substantiated her account, was lost. Preservation of the crime scene presented no difficulty for police, since the alleged rape was committed in his office and a shirt of his was used to clean up afterwards. Further breaches of proper procedure by Bush include his failure to arrange a medical examination of the victim or indeed the suspect, his failure to take a statement of complaint in the manner prescribed in order to ensure the integrity of a complaint against the police, and his failure to keep a record of the meeting with Ogle and Yates, at which Ogle, as the suspect, should properly have been formally cautioned. During the 3 months, Bush aided the cover-up by remaining silent. Sergeant Yates put together a falsified file supporting the claim of consent, with forgery and hearsay evidence. This false account would go on to be accepted without question by his superiors, and the investigation that followed was engineered to substantiate it rather than uncover the truth facts. Every police officer involved thereafter accepted this myth, based on the forgeries of a corrupt sergeant and hearsay statements, without question. And I mean every police officer, even Assistant Commissioner Matthews, who gave perjured evidence on police procedure in taking complaints against the police in the civil action brought by MS Garrett. This would be acknowledged in 2011 by the Attorney General, paying MS Garrett a substantial sum in compensation for possible perjury by the police in that case. MS Garrett lost her civil action against the police on the grounds, in short, that the Court of Appeal found no malice towards her on the part of the police. One can only speculate as to their judgment had the truth been allowed to emerge in that action. In their judgment on the case Garrett versus Attorney General 1997, a full bench of the Court of Appeal, while finding against MS Garrett for the reasons outlined, also included that without any doubt MS Garrett had been raped, that the police investigation unduly favoured Constable Ogle, and that the evidence purporting to reflect the victim's sexual history and reputation was inadmissible. under the Evidence Amendment Act 1985. They also found Ms. Garrett had suffered seriously in consequence of the police conduct. The police chose to simply ignore these findings from the highest court in the land and have persisted with their claim that consent was consensual to this day, employing a trial of the alleged offender in 2006 to perpetuate that claim. Having got away with ignoring the Court of Appeal, it later became imperative that the police to shut down the Commission of Inquiry into Police Conduct initiated by Ms. Garrett and Louis Nicholas in 2004, lest the depth of police misconduct became known. You yourself, after being placed in charge of Ms. Garrett and Louis Nicholas' case, succeeded at this by reopening their stale rape inquiries, thereby preventing the very people that had sought the inquiry from making known the facts. To my mind, you committed the crime of perverting the course of justice by this action. The perversion of justice lies in the fact that their victims at the time were seeking an inquiry into police conduct, not into rapes themselves. Attempts to have you acknowledge the complaints of misconduct were ignored and ridden over roughshod with the smug mantra, "You will not be appealing before the inquiry." I recall that with great clarity. By totally ignoring the allegations of corruption, you were able to use the ploy of claiming you were preventing a miscarriage of justice in the rape complaints to actually pervert justice and prevent the exposure of despicable conduct of the police. In this and other cases over a considerable period of time, you also wasted inordinate amount of judicial resources and public monies by presenting carefully selected cases to the Commission of Inquiry in the course of what was reducing to nothing more than a red herring. In your email to me, you make reference to exhaustive criminal investigation that followed the reopening of the Garrett rape complaint, which resulted in a prosecution in the High Court in 2006. I have no argument with that reinvestigation other than it was more ruse to subvert an inquiry and was contrary to the victim's wishes, unnecessarily subjecting her once again to past trauma suffering through the rape and earlier cover-up. I certainly have no complaint at the manner in which the Detective Inspector John Winter conducted a thorough, sensitive and professional reinvestigation of the rape. I continue to have the gravest reservations as to the conduct of the prosecution that followed. I suspected the prosecution was overseen by someone other than D.I. Winter, Detective Inspector Winter. I do know that it failed because of serious omissions in both the evidence presented by the Crown and by the prosecution, allowing the victim's character and reputation to once again denigrated without objection or evidence of rebuttal being presented. I am of the considered opinion that both you and Commissioner Bush are products of a police culture. Did you hear that? I'm going to say this one more time so you can hear what I'm just saying. I am of the considered opinion that both you and Commissioner Bush are products of a police culture that places loyalty to one's colleagues above all else. There you go. Statement. I'm citing that in this 61 Cook Street case against all policemen, including Commissioner Mike Bush, right here. I'm quoting it from here, okay, from this complaint. You ignored the greater obligation to the fair and impartial performance of your duty, and to have this reduced the integrity and credibility of New Zealand police to something akin to that of the mongrel mob, that at least have the honesty to admit that pure loyalty is at the core of their culture. Sergeant Dennis Colville at the Auckland Police Station, Central Police Station. Did you hear what I just said? I'm quoting that to you today, that your culture in there is corrupted and fraudulent. Now, I'll keep going. They at least have the honesty to admit that peer loyalty is at the core of their culture. You, though, will go to almost any length and expense to keep your colleagues' criminals' actions hidden, while maintaining the guise of upholding the law. Are you hearing me? Auckland Central Police Station, are you hearing me? With 161 Cook Street, why are you covering it up? He's right here. Okay, I'm citing you from here. This is a latest complaint. I'll carry on. The New Zealand Police has developed into a culture where it can ignore findings of the courts with impunity, as it can with its watchdog body, the IPCA. If you had set yourselves up as a law unto yourselves, and police prejudice and arrogance continues unabated. There you go. Right. Both you and the Commissioner should resign. I do not wish to meet with you. I have no doubt that the police will find some means of evading justice in this case, and have decided that the best I can do is to present this in the public arena. So even if you cannot be called to account, the truth is out there. Angus Fisk. Little sense putting cameras on crooks. There. Now, I want to say this. I'll just switch this back to the camera over there. Hang on. I just want to put this right. Now, this video is to you, Mike Bush. You heard what this other public person said. I'm saying the same thing on his video, on his statement there, in this Paul Henry article of the 3 News, okay? www.3news.co.nz. TV shows, Paul Henry. Okay, so I think that's why you got rid of John Campbell, because of this. You see, you dirty bastards. That's all I can say, Commissioner Mike Bush, you dirty bastards. That's why you won't answer me. I can say that to you straight to your face. With this video today, that you're all pack of bastards in there, in this police force, that you're going to get shut down from Scotland Yard and the military in Britain. You won't do anything about this 61 Cook Street because you're all in it. You're all caught out by this dumb, stupid mongrel called Sergeant Tim Duffy. Got you fellas hung in the sinkhole on 1/61 Cook Street. That's as strong as I can make this statement in front of you, in front of all the people, including this guy Angus Fisk, who's venting his frustration at police hiding things away from the public. Okay? You're not going to get away with this in front of me, the native chief here, and the King's flag. Okay? This flag will hang the whole bloody lot of you. Okay? It'll hang the bloody whole lot of you on the dock here. You watch what we do next when the people see this video of you, Mike Bush. You're the police in there with your culture, and you're making law to suit yourself, the same way as what's happening in Auckland here. I'm going to see your man, Sergeant Dennis Culverwell, on Monday, and dare he say nothing to me about 1/61 Cook Street. And I want him to tell me that he's been to investigate the land conveyancing lawyer. Those lawyers are in trouble. Bailey's is in trouble. All the real estate companies are in trouble. The banks are in trouble. Because I'm writing the bills up. Okay? And they come from Britain. Straight over commerce under this flag of commerce. It's the king of commerce. It's that flag. Okay? That's all I want to say about that. Right? Mike Bush, I made myself clear. I made myself clear. You didn't answer me to my letters I wrote to you as if they're invisible. You can't read because you're hiding fraud. I'm telling you straight to your face, and your government, and John Key's name is in the box. His name is in the box. Your name's going to go in the box. Mike Bush, ready to hang. That's why I can say that, because we've got the Acts of Parliament to do it. In King William, Devonport, England. Devonport here. We'll hang you on the docks in Devonport. Right? If the people want to say, hang you, it means hang you. And the people say, you don't hang him, he's a good man. No, shit no, you're not a good man. You're one of the elite people who are running scam inside this country, our country. Okay? We want you gone. We want you gone. Out of there. You're not competent enough. You're incompetent. The whole bloody lot of you police are incompetent. Because you follow each other into the fraud, and you've been caught red-handed on 1 bar 61 Cook Street. Okay? I've caught you out. I've caught you out, really. Right in front of the British military, right in front of Scotland Yard, right in front of Graham Aylett, the ex-detective from Scotland Yard, here, my private investigator. I'm doing his job for him, right? He's got enough work to keep going, that's why he's busy. He'll come and clean this lot out and go and chase after all your properties. The whole fucking lot of you will get your properties taken off you. By what I'm just reading now, I'm shocked, Mike Bush, that you are the police commissioner with a record behind you. With a record behind you. And the same with Judith Collins and Judith Collins and that other woman that was the police commissioner, and Tolly. Right? Both of those bitches are your ilk. They did their shit, then got out. And John Key, he's full of shit too. He's going. His name is in the box. His name is in the box. My QC lawyer, Hugh Dyak Choi, signed it. Signed his death warrant. That's a death warrant. Gone in the High Court of Admiralty in London. Okay? That's his warrant for his head. To hang with the Queen. All her people is your people that Tim Duthie swore on the camera. He swears his oath to the Queen. That's it. I cite him for that. Okay? I cite him for that. And I cite him for me saying I refute his trespass order on that land. I've got a trespass order on them already. Okay? I have a trespass and a title on there. As long as they're there, they're getting billed. And it's your job, Tim, Dennis Caldwell, to go and check that fraud out. You check every other fraud out, and every fucking fraud in this country out. You go and check this bastard of a fraud. It's the worst one in the whole world. You go and check it out. If you don't check it out, one of your fucking policemen will have to. Because it's not going to go away. It ain't going away. Your fraud will be hanging there and everybody's reading it every day, including this video, just for mongrels like you. Just for mongrels like you. And that Louise Wallace, she got raped too by your bloody police. And now that other one got raped too. Tied her up in handcuffs in the police station, then raped her. That's your police culture. You know, Moai does not like your ilk. White bark-ears doing those things in front of us. Okay? And doing things with kids and everything else that you're great for. Not anymore on Indian land, native lands. Not anymore when this king kicks in. Not anymore on our land. You can bugger off. Otherwise we'll get you off. Out of here. The whole fucking lot of you. Alright? The whole fucking lot of you. And that's all I wanted to say today about you. Reading what background you've got. I don't have a background like that. You bastard. That's all I'm saying about you police, you bastards on our land. Doing that. Your culture is you've got your own way of doing things for yourselves and your businesses. Well, we're going to bankrupt you. We are going to bankrupt the police businesses and the government here and this whole country. Okay? That's a result of what I'm looking at here. You in charge of all the police. You're stopping me. Mike Bush, your policeman is stopping me on Cook Street. Going to get that land. You better fucking tell them, get off it. Okay? You tell those buggers of yours to get off that land. Right now. Tell James Brown and Simon Roundtree to get the fuck off the land. Right now. You're crooked. You're crooked, they're crooked. The lawyers are crooked. The fucking bank's crooked. The whole fucking lot of the government's crooked. Alright? Can't say much more better than that. Because that's the way people are thinking. Just like how I'm saying. They won't say it because they get locked up. They can't talk like that. To you, mongrels. I'm calling you mongrels because that's all you are. By looking at your character. You shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be running this country, please. You should not be there. Jonky, you're a fucking bastard putting this mongrel there with that background. Is that how you choose your people? In your government, it's not worth a fucking tin of assholes. All of them, the whole fucking lot of them, the Maoris and all, are not worth fucking doing anything with. That's why I want you cleaned out. I want the whole bloody lot of you gone. Right? I don't trust any of you. Not one of you. I'll run the whole fucking place with 20 people. Okay? Watch. We have our things on our website. There. A whole government running it. From England. Okay? We don't need you fucking assholes. In here. Anymore. No more. Mike Bush, I'll tell you what. Fuck off. Get out of there because Angus Fist wants you gone. And so do I. And my chiefs. Okay? Now, piss off out of it. I'm going off and leaving it like that. Right? In front of the whole world. Okay? The king. I'm talking for the king. That's the way we do it. Right? The king don't muck around with assholes. Your queen is a bitch of an asshole that's gonna hang. She's gonna hang before long. Her and John Key. And dare I say it, you too. And anybody getting in our road. You're getting in the King's Road. Right? The King's Bench Road. That's what you're doing. You're holding up our ship and you're damaged it. And for damaging it, you'll get damaged the same way back. Worse. Okay, that's it. I'll get going and get this gone because you're wasting my time. All of you police are wasting my time. You hold me up for over 6 years. Mike Bush and Peter Marshall. We're going after you too, Peter Marshall. You never answered any of my letters. That's the other police commissioner. You're fucking useless. Useless. The whole fucking lot of you useless. Can't even answer letters. You know why? Because you're fucking hiding fraud. You're hiding fraud. That's why. I'm just telling right in front of the whole world that you bunch of assholes are not worth trusting anymore. Okay? Can't trust you. If I say can't trust you, everybody should be looking at that as being quite true. And you're hiding 1 bar 61 Cook Street. Those people in Britain watching you. They're watching you. When are they going to own up? When are they going to own up? You're the only one that's standing between me and that land that belongs to me. And my chiefs. Mike Bush, your fucking men here are in my bloody road. Okay? And I want you or someone else to fucking clear them out of my road so I can go on that land and do what I want with that. Because we've already taken it back. Okay? And your little shithead parkiers in there, the cheeky little sods, are going to hang the bastards with this flag. And King William's Acts of Parliament. Alright? Because they deserve all they're getting for hiding the fraud in that land with Doug Rickard Bell and Bailey's and all the rest of them. Westpac, ASB, banks are foreclosed on the whole bloody lot of you. Okay? Watch what Moai does. Because that's God's law, truth. If you can't stack up against my word against yours, you're buggered. You're fucked. Mike Bush. That's why none of you people want to answer. Only that shithead Aaron Pascoe answered me in an email that shot him in the foot. He shot himself in the foot because he tampered with that contract. Right? Your men, Mike Bush, are tampering with my commercial contract of this flag on that land. And you know what it is? Just what I'm saying. You fucking get hung in this Admiralty. Not your Vice Admiral, useless bastard of a bloody government in the Supreme Court, hiding away the Queen in the Supreme Court in Wellington. No, I'm going to root that whole place out. When I get going, Robert will go down straight to that court and shut them down. Okay? That's what's going to happen. The King is the master. The King is the master and emperor all over why you got here. All you fucking white buggies got here on this flag of a king, not a queen, a useless bitch that's going around screwing everybody's kids off them. All the pedophilia, all the bad things in the world, war and all everything is the bitch. And that's your bitch. Right? We don't have bitches. We only have a Moai and a king. Good riddance. I'm going off. See you later. And just shake your fucking ass and get this fucking property sorted out. Okay? Mike Bush. And resign. And get the fuck out of there. You're not good enough, incompetent and useless for anything to look after people. And we'll shut your business down. Okay? We're gonna shut your business down in the police. All those businesses, 28 of them, shut down. Take my word for it. And fucking hurry up.